When most people hear the word debt, they instantly feel fear, stress, maybe even shame.
Debt is one of those words that carries a heavy emotional weight. But here's the truth: debt is not automatically bad. Debt is simply a tool, just like a hammer.
With a hammer, you can build a house, or you can smash a window. The hammer itself isn't good or bad, it depends on how you use it. Debt works the same way. In the right hands, it can be a ladder. In the wrong hands, it can be a trap. The problem is, most people never learn how to use it wisely. And so, instead of building wealth, they dig themselves deeper into financial holes. Let's put this into perspective. Right now, the average American carries over $90,000 in debt. That includes mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and student loans. Some of that debt is strategic, like a mortgage that builds equity in a home. But a huge portion of it comes from credit cards and consumer spending, which drain money instead of creating value. Why does this happen? Because we're rarely taught the difference between good debt and bad debt. From a young age, society tells us it's normal to borrow money for cars, gadgets, vacations, even clothing. And banks make it so easy. Just swipe a card, sign a paper, and you can have what you want today. But here's the catch. Debt always comes with a cost. That cost is called interest. And interest doesn't sleep. It grows every single day, whether you think about it or not. Imagine you borrow $1,000 on a credit card with a 20% annual interest rate. If you don't pay it off, by the end of the year, you'll owe $1,200. And if you let it sit even longer, it keeps snowballing, turning into $1,400, $1,600, and so on. That's how people end up paying double, sometimes triple, the original price of something as small as a phone or a vacation.
Now, compare that to a mortgage on a house. Yes, you still pay interest, but over time, the house itself usually grows in value.
So while the bank collects its share, you're also building wealth through ownership. That's the crucial difference between a tool that builds and a trap that destroys. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine your income is like a team of workers. Every month, you send them out to work for you. But when you take on bad debt, suddenly some of those workers don't come back. Instead, they go to work for the bank. Every paycheck, a portion of your income gets sent away, working to pay off interest instead of building your future. That's why debt feels like such a burden. It's not just about the money you owe, it's about the money you lose every month that could have been building your dreams. But don't get me wrong, debt itself is not the enemy. It's a neutral force. Think of it like fire. Fire can cook your food and keep you warm. But if it gets out of control, it can burn your house down.
The key is control. And control comes from understanding. Once you see debt as a tool, not as a monster under the bed, you can start making smarter decisions.
You'll stop borrowing for things that don't matter, and if you do take on debt, you'll make sure it's debt that helps you grow. So as we move forward, keep this in mind. Debt is not a curse. It's not a life sentence. It's simply energy. And when you learn how to direct it, you take back your power. In the next section, we'll break down the two sides of debt, the kinds that help you and the kinds that hurt you. Because once you understand the difference, you'll never look at borrowing the same way again.
We've all encountered debt, which can be beneficial or a significant burden. But what happens when you're deeply entrenched in debt, feeling overwhelmed? Ignoring debt won't make it disappear. It only allows it to grow larger and more unmanageable. Interest charges, like weeds, multiply if unchecked, consuming your financial landscape. The only path is to confront your debt directly and strategically. So, how do you begin escaping this financial trap and regaining control? Step 1. Understand your financial situation by knowing your numbers. List every debt, credit cards, personal loans, medical bills, and other obligations. For each debt, record the balance, minimum payment, and interest rate. Many avoid this step, as confronting debt can be emotionally challenging. However, you cannot effectively combat an adversary you refuse to acknowledge. Awareness is power, providing the foundation for your debt elimination strategy. Step 2. Choose the most effective strategy for your financial journey. Consider two powerful approaches, the debt snowball and debt avalanche methods. With the debt snowball, focus on paying off your smallest debt first. This provides immediate momentum and a tangible sense of progress. This victory fuels motivation. Roll that money into the next smallest debt, creating a compounding effect. This process builds confidence, the secret weapon in paying off debt. Conversely, the debt avalanche method prioritizes debts with the highest interest rates. Mathematically, this saves the most money on interest long-term by tackling expensive debts first. However, it demands patience and discipline, as larger debts take longer to clear. The most effective method is the one you will consistently stick with. If you thrive on small, frequent wins, the snowball method is best. If you have strong discipline, the avalanche method yields greater financial savings. Regardless, any progress is valuable towards your goal. Step 3. Stop accumulating new debt. Imagine bailing water from a leaking boat without patching the hole. You'll never make progress. It's essential to address the source of new debt. Cut up or freeze credit cards to remove temptation and avoid financing unnecessary purchases. Create and adhere to a realistic budget to prevent falling back into the debt trap. Step 4. Build a financial safety net by establishing an emergency fund. This is important even while paying down debt, as unexpected expenses will arise. Without a cushion, an emergency could push you back into borrowing, undoing your hard work. Even $500 or $1,000 can act as a critical buffer, preventing another credit card crisis. Step 5. Actively increase your income. While expenses can only be cut so much, your earning potential is virtually unlimited. Explore side hustles, freelancing, selling unused items, or negotiating a higher salary. Every additional dollar is a powerful weapon against debt, accelerating your freedom. Now, let's visualize these strategies with Michael and Sarah. Michael, in his late 20s, faces $20,000 in credit card debt. He opts for the debt avalanche, targeting the card with a 24% interest rate. Michael makes extra payments monthly, demonstrating remarkable discipline. In 3 years, he saves thousands in interest, proving his disciplined approaches power. Sarah, in her mid-20s, has $10,000 in debt across 5 smaller loans. She chooses the debt snowball, first crushing her $500 store credit card debt. Then, she rolls that payment into her $1,200 loan, building incredible momentum. Each victory fuels her motivation and confidence, propelling her forward. In 2 years, Sarah is debt-free, her confidence skyrocketing, showcasing consistent small wins. Michael and Sarah took different paths, but reached the same destination: financial freedom. The key takeaway: paying off debt is not solely about numbers. It's about psychology, believing in your ability to succeed despite daunting figures. Every small step and consistent payment compounds, bringing you closer to your goal. When you make that last payment and see balance, 0, it's more than just a number. It's relief, freedom, and proof that debt no longer controls your life. Debt is a challenge, not a life sentence, and with strategy and determination, it can be overcome.
So, you faced your debt, made a plan, and are diligently paying it down.
But what truly happens after that final payment? Life after debt looks profoundly different, and it absolutely should.
If you revert to old habits, the cycle of debt will inevitably begin again, trapping you once more.
The real goal isn't merely paying off debt. It's about staying debt-free and building a robust financial future.
Consider this: every dollar you once allocated to interest payments is now a dollar you can direct towards true financial freedom. This freedom manifests in crucial ways: the freedom to save, to invest, and ultimately to choose your own path. So, how do you effectively protect yourself and maintain this liberation once you've escaped the debt trap?
Step 1 is to build an incredibly strong and resilient financial foundation that can withstand unexpected challenges.
Begin by establishing a full emergency fund, ideally covering at least 3 to 6 months of your essential living expenses.
This fund acts as your impenetrable shield against life's inevitable surprises, providing a crucial buffer. It means no reliance on high-interest credit cards or predatory payday loans, just readily available cash you can truly depend on. Step 2 involves creating clear and firm boundaries with how you interact with credit.
Credit itself isn't inherently bad. Tools like mortgages, student loans, and business loans can be incredibly beneficial when utilized judiciously.
However, credit cards and general consumer debt must always remain under strict control, serving as tools, not becoming debilitating crutches. Establish unwavering rules for yourself. Always pay your credit card balance in full every single month. If you find yourself unable to do so, then the simple rule is do not swipe that card.
Step 3 is to consciously redirect your money towards growth and future prosperity.
Remember all those minimum payments you diligently made towards your debt? It's crucial not to let that money simply vanish into lifestyle upgrades. Instead, channel that significant sum directly into savings and strategic investments. Treat your financial future as the new, non-negotiable bill you must pay every single month. For instance, if you are consistently paying $400 a month towards debt, imagine the incredible impact of redirecting that exact amount into an investment account. Over 20 years, with average market growth, that consistent $400 monthly contribution could potentially blossom into more than $200,000. That, my friends, is the profound power of transforming what were once debt payments into powerful wealth builders. Step 4 focuses on developing and maintaining new, positive financial habits.
The very habits that successfully guided you out of debt are precisely the same habits that will ensure you remain financially free.
These include meticulously tracking your spending, consciously living below your means, practicing delayed gratification, and consistently paying yourself first. It's not about achieving absolute perfection in every financial decision. It's about unwavering consistency.
Even small, steady progress consistently outperforms reckless, impulsive spending every single time.
Now let's vividly imagine two very different financial futures, personified by Alex and Lisa. First, consider Alex. He successfully pays off $15,000 in debt, feeling an immense sense of relief and freedom. But then he thinks, finally, I can spend again. He upgrades his car, takes lavish trips on credit, and slowly slides back into the same destructive cycle. Within just 3 years, his debt is back, and he finds himself trapped once more. Now let's look at Lisa. She also triumphantly pays off $15,000 in debt. But instead of immediately spending, she wisely builds a robust $10,000 emergency fund. She then consistently invests $300 a month into a diversified index fund, leveraging the power of compound growth.
10 years later, Lisa has accumulated an impressive $60,000 saved and invested, and she remains completely debt-free.
Lisa's future is not fragile. It is secure, stable, and full of potential. This stark contrast illustrates the critical difference between truly breaking the cycle of debt and merely repeating it. Finally, here's the profound mindset shift that truly matters most for your long-term financial well-being. Debt is fundamentally about the past, a reflection of yesterday's financial decisions. Wealth, on the other hand, is entirely about the future, a proactive investment in tomorrow's opportunities. Paying off debt means you are diligently cleaning up yesterday's mistakes and clearing your slate. Building wealth means you are actively investing in and creating tomorrow's abundant opportunities. So, do not stop at zero. Zero is not the ultimate finish line. It is merely the exciting starting line for your next financial chapter. When you become debt-free, absolutely celebrate this monumental achievement, yes. But then, immediately ask yourself, what's next for me? What new financial heights can I reach?
Perhaps it's realizing the dream of buying your first home, building a robust retirement fund, or even courageously starting your own business.
Debt was the heavy chain that held you back, restricting your potential. Now that it's gone, your energy, your hard-earned income, and your choices, they are all entirely yours again, ready to be directed towards your aspirations. And always remember this fundamental truth: money is merely a tool. In the wrong hands, it can construct chains of debt and limitation. But in the right, responsible hands, it possesses the incredible power to build true freedom and lasting security. Debt doesn't define who you are. What you choose to do after paying it off truly defines your future.